All right, you guys, Dino Dan back with you. This topic, I know a lot of you are pulling your hair out with the PowerVision 3 for Gen 2 applications. There's a number of required steps before you even get to the opportunity to install, read, and flash. With the PowerVision 4, that journey's pretty straightforward. It's all handled on the server and the app. So I drafted this to keep me on point. Let's talk about what you're going to need. So in order to interface with a Gen 2 application with a Dynojet PowerVision 3, there's two flavors of PowerVision 3 that you're going to find out there in the wild. Technically four, but we're going to keep it as two today. So this PV3 1504, that's enabled for Gen 2 applications right out of the box. Okay? These other older versions, the 1501, 02, and 03, that's going to need a little extra work. So this video is going to guide you through how to go about getting the required files to interface successfully with a Gen 2 Harley-Davidson application. Okay, so follow along. What you're going to need: computer, doesn't matter if it's a Mac or Windows, PV3 HD Gen 2, as mentioned, which is natively enabled to work with the Gen 2 applications. PV3 1504 is that part number. PV3 HD, not natively enabled. You may have an old PV3, the 01, the 02, the 03. That's okay. We can get you updated and make it Gen 2 compatible. Of course, you need the correct cable, the red Euro 5 style cable, and of course a USB-A to USB Mini. So step one, update the firmware. I'm not going to labor over how to go about that. I've got other videos somewhere on the methods in which to update your PV3. All right, here we go. Connect the bike, key on, engine off. With the PowerVision 3 connected to the bike, turn the key on with the engine off. This process alone generates that PV info file. Every time you do that, it overwrites. Okay, so every time you plug it in, turn the key on, engine off, that info file generates and lives on the PowerVision 3. Go over to your PowerVision 3 on your computer, plug it in, I should say, and browse down to PowerVision. I'll show you exactly what that's going to look like, a little show and tell here. So here we are, this is Windows Explorer. You scroll down here, you're going to see a number of things, and down here I've got PowerVision. Okay, so there's some hard drives, all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. PowerVision. Okay, here's the root. Here's the PV info folder. There is the PV info file. So again, Windows Explorer, go ahead and find your PowerVision. As a drive, it mounts as a drive like a USB thumbstick. And then inside of your PV info folder, you'll find your PV info file. Okay? Let's get this back over here. The next step is you're going to grab that file and save it to a safe location. Create a folder so you can locate, ID it, whatever it takes. So by the VIN, the customer name, etc., etc. Now we're going to jump over here to a browser. I'm going to switch screens on you here real quick. So whoop, there we go. So you're going to go over to a browser, pick your flavor. I guess partial to Edge these days, and so this is where, if you have a PowerVision 3 part number PV3-1504, you don't need to do what I'm about to show you. Okay, however, if you do have a PowerVision 3 1504, you'll catch up with us here in just a little bit, so bear with us. So if you have a PV3 1501, 02, 03, what we're going to do is go to Dynojet.com, look for this icon. This is a login, okay? If you don't have an account, set up an account. I go over here to the left side of the screen. I'm going to select Universal Tokens. So this Universal Tokens environment, you've got four areas. Buy more tokens, do some things with tokens, device, vehicle, and software solutions. We want to update our device. Okay, there's unpair, there's obtain. We want to select obtain feature license. I'm going to browse to where I saved my PV info file. That could be anywhere for you. Here's mine. Now it's uploaded. We'll give it a name. We'll call it test today. And I'm going to register the vehicle. Now I already went through this process, so it's going to look a little bit different. However, here are all the feature licenses for my PowerVision 3 that is plugged in to my computer right at this moment. So over here it would say buy. You are going to need 10 universal tokens in order to get a Gen 2 feature license. Internally, Dynojet folks call this Group 26 support, hence HD G26 support. Layman's terms, I want to flash a Gen 2 Harley Davidson. This is the guy you need. Make sure you pick PV3 because there is a PV4, so your target needs to be PV3. The Tune Compat, or software level, as it's always been called by Dynojet for Harley Davidson applications until some of this new stuff started showing up. PV info file indicated that it was software level 48. You're going to want to buy it, number one, which I already did, and then download it. Okay, when you download it, it's likely going to land over in your downloads folder. So let's get this guy back over here. Downloads. There is my file right there. HD Group 26 support, blah, 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 PV3 feature file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control copy. And I'm going to control V, which is paste, and drop it on there. Simple as that. Okay. Now let's see here. That's it. That's the only thing required to get your older PowerVision 3 ready to interface with Gen 2 applications. Now, for you guys that have the natively enabled PV3 1504 part number, let's talk about catching you up now. Your device came with this already installed, so you didn't have to go through that process I just showed you. So now everybody's on equal footing. What's the next step? Well, going back to a browser, we're going to go back to dynojet.com. What I do is I land, let's get this on the front end of the page, go here to the top left. Some people call this a hamburger menu. Not sure why. It looks like two straight bars to me. Tunes. Click to download some stuff. Got it. Here I am. This dialog looks similar to me. It's the same. We're going to have to upload our PV info again. There it is again. We're going to say it's test. It really doesn't matter what you name this. It's just a hook for you to remember another day on your Power Cloud. So we're going to submit. Okay, there's two critical pieces we need to get off this page. The feature key file right here, and then this OS install STK. This file prepares the ECU. It is not an original read, it's not a tune, it's not anything. It's a file that prepares your ECU so that the PowerVision 3 can interface with it. Simple as that. You're going to download each of these, which I've already done, but there it is, downloaded. Okay, download this guy. Done. And again, we'll look in our downloads folder over here in Windows Explorer. There they are. Let's update this real quick. So there's my install OS STK and my key file. I'm going to grab both of these. So if I hold my control key down, I got both. I can right click and say copy, or just hit Control C. Locate my PowerVision that's mounted to my Windows or Mac machine and drop these in the root. Okay, so again, you do not want to save anything. We'll let this grind here a second. You don't want to save anything in this PV info file folder I've seen people do that. That is not the place to drop any one of these files, okay? So keep them out here in the root. So again, let's say root. Now I've got three things: OSS install STK, group 26 support, which again, if you have a -04 part number, that's pre-installed, you won't see it. And then the last piece here is the feature file for the key, the unique ECU key. So your PowerVision 3 is technically now ready to interact with your Gen 2 Harley Davidson, where you would begin the three-step process, which is install, read, and then flash. And I should mention back here on the this page, if there is a tune file available, it will be listed here. It will be in .djt format. I don't see one for this particular PV info file that was generated from the bike that I connected to. But if it were, it would be right here. You could select and download and also save that over to your PowerVision drive. So I hope that was helpful. I know that's a crash course. I can certainly share a quick Word document with you, and you can follow along in this video to make sure you get it right. Just took me a couple minutes to whip this up, so hopefully that helps and gets you out of a pickle. I'll talk to you next time.